Hey, what's up, Bonehaw? Shujinkydink here. Welcome to a video all about NRS games. I'm working on a Mortal Kombat 11 review because some people asked me, what do I think about the game? How good is it? How good isn't it? So I want to put together a fairly decent review, so I'll be working on that for the next day or so. But in the meantime, I wanted to let you know my rankings for the last 5 NRS games. So we got MKX, Justice 2, MK11, MK9, Justice Gods Among Us. But yeah, I'll tell you which ones are my favorites and why. I kind of rank them on like overall enjoyability of the game, balance of the game, how much I like the game, I guess. All a personal opinion thing. So yours might be different. Post yours in the comments down below and let me know why.
Accept your death.
Coming in at number 5 is Injustice Gods Among Us. This was the first time NRS would make a back-to-block kind of a game, and it kind of showed. There was a lot of broken stuff in this game. Basically, the couple characters that were broken just couldn't really compete. So you saw a lot of characters go unused outside of maybe certain circumstances. Lex Luthor, for example, was the only character that I can think of in NRS history that has a 9-1 matchup against General Zod. So at the highest level, this just really wasn't a fun game to play when your only choices were like 5 different characters to try and win anything. Outside of that, there wasn't really anything else to do in the game. You had the Star Labs thing that was a little bit, I think there was like a series of challenges, but not a whole lot of content to keep me into it, and I think this was the earliest I ever actually stopped playing an NRS game. So although it was a new NRS game and whatnot, it was kind of exciting in that aspect, but it died off for me pretty quick. Not to mention the game itself just doesn't look very good, especially for the time. I think it was even behind some of the other newer games that came out. So it's my least favorite of the NRS games, I would say, and takes the number 5 spot on my list. Coming in at number 4 is Injustice 2, and holy smokes, what an improvement over the first Injustice. Like, far and away, the way the game looks, the way the game plays, the things you can do. The gear was one of the most fun parts for me, which I'm not usually into things like that. I'll find 1 or 2 things that look cool, but I found myself pretty much using Supergirl like a Barbie and just like always mixing up the loadouts and having all 5 loadouts or have something cool in it and changing them every so often. And same with Firestorm and a little bit with Darkseid. I didn't play him enough to really unlock that much with him, but I really preferred the gear system in this game to say something like MK11. I just found it was way more creative and you can unlock everything. So it was pretty cool. And then they added the grind for the legendary gear, which gave it a little bit more offline playability, I think. So I enjoyed that grind as well. I think I only did it for one. I think it was only Firestorm I did it for, but still, it was fun, and it's cool that they're added different play styles. And of course, this was the game that I found a lot of you guys from, because everybody liked my Supergirl combo video. It's got more views than any Quan Chi video I've ever done. So I thought that was pretty cool and met a lot of good friends through this game. So lots of good memories. Having said that, though, we're moving on to the Mortal Kombat games, if you haven't already guessed that. Number 3 is Mortal Kombat X. This is definitely when I peaked as a competitor, I'd say. I actually got a couple top 8s, I think a top 4 actually in my first event. Mind you, I had a very top tier character to help me along with, but it's probably the game I spent the most grinding on, just learning matchups and understanding different players and watching their behaviors. And this is where I learned a lot and decided to start doing one-on-one lessons with people and met a few friends through here. So it was a good time. And the game itself, the balance is kind of meh, and like now that I play it after being spoiled with some newer games, it's there's lots of mix and lots of guessing, and it's a super fast-paced game, which is cool, and I think a lot of people like that, and it was I had fun with it certainly. But as a competitive standpoint, I don't like the idea of losing by just guessing wrong. I don't mind being outplayed and that kind of thing. So competitively as a whole, this game doesn't really speak to me. In an offline setting, there's actually quite a few things to do. Test Your Luck was like tons of fun with friends and whatnot. I think that was really cool that they put that in there. The crypt was fun, but you could just buy it, and I think that's what I ended up doing. And there was jump scares in there. I don't like those. But yeah, that's MKX. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 is Mortal Kombat 11. I have had an absolute blast with this game. One of the few games where I actually switched mains halfway through, dropping Cetrion and going on to Baraka, which sometimes I wish I continued playing top tier, but outside of her and a couple others and a few at the bottom, the cast is fairly balanced, so I really enjoyed this game, and there's lots of side stuff to do. The crypt was really fun, although it was a little short, and AI battles were so entertaining sometimes. So yeah, number 2, Mortal Kombat 11. I'll go into more details on this on my official Mortal Kombat 11 review, but let's get to the number 1 game, which probably figured out by now. And the number 1 NRS game, in my personal opinion, is Mortal Kombat 9. Now, this game had all sorts of balancing issues, all sorts of characters, had all sorts of broken shit. But I think it was the accumulation of everyone having broken shit that just made this game so fun. Between Quan Chi's Rune Trap and Cyrax's bomb resets, and you had Cabal in there. I don't know, it was definitely not a balanced game, but it was really fun. And there were some actually good fundamental parts of the game that were really apparent, like anti-airing, spacing, footsies. So all in all, it made it a really solid gameplay. I think what really sells this for me, though, as my favorite game, is just nostalgia. This was the first game that we really had multiple offline events for. This is where I met people that I had known for like 7 or 8 years previously, like Pig of the Hut and Rio. I got to meet greats like Ketchup and Mustard for the first time. So there's just so many good memories with this game that I think that itself is what, not to mention that Quan Chi was on the bottom of everybody's tier lists until I went to Devastation, placed 9th with him, and then he moved up to the mid section. So I was pretty proud of that. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 9, all in all, takes the cake as far as my favorite, best NRS game goes. Again, in my opinion, I'm sure yours will be different, and there's probably the same nostalgia for whatever game you first started in, like Injustice 2 or MKX or something like that. So let me know. And that's it, guys. My 5 NRS games, all ranked. What did you think? Did anything surprise you? Maybe not, if you know me. Or maybe it did a lot. Who knows? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you enjoy this video, please leave a like, because it really helps me out, and subscribe if you haven't, because I make new videos almost every single day. Hashtag Bonehawks, all that stuff, and we'll see all you guys in the next video.
Accept your death.